Ash Ketchum is the eternal anime protagonist, ever present and never aging, even after 25 years and literally thousands of episodes. However, all of that might be coming to an end, and with my good friend Lumiose Trainer Zac, we are going to explain why Ash could legitimately be leaving the anime in the very near future. Let's check it out.
What's up, Lumiose Trainers? Lumiose Trainer Zac here, and as Hoop said, I'm gonna be helping him explain why it's actually possible that Ash could be leaving the anime after Journeys. Whether this actually happens or not, there's actually a lot of good evidence that supports this idea. It's kind of a conspiracy theory when you think about it, so feel free to draw your own conclusions and let us know what you think about this in the comments below. When it comes to actual evidence, the first thing we want to talk about here is Go. Now, as controversial as he might be, Go is actually a pretty significant character for a lot of reasons. Because Go is an anime original companion, he has one of the most striking designs with big anime protagonist energy, which makes sense since Journeys promotes Ash and Go as double protagonists. Unlike other series where Ash is the more important one, here they're treated as equals. There's also the fact that Go is the first character to have their own episode that does not feature Ash and Pikachu in any way. That's a pretty big deal considering it's never really been done before. Even episodes that focus on like Team Rocket and other companions have Ash show up at least in the beginning or end of the episode for a few seconds. Then you throw in the fact that Go caught all the Galar starters this generation while Ash doesn't have any of them, the fact that Go wants to catch every single Pokemon, and his name, Go, is obviously derived from Pokemon Go, which is a big part of the modern day Pokemon era. It all kind of comes together to suggest that they could be using Journeys to warm up Go to eventually take over as the main protagonist. I mean, he is kind of doing a lot of the things we'd expect Ash to do after all.
Even just the idea of someone else taking over for Ash makes all the sense in the world. The number one ongoing discussion about the Pokemon anime over the last 15 to 20 years has probably been about whether Ash should be replaced. Many fans have been calling for his replacement forever, even though he is a beloved character, simply because they feel like he has sort of run his course and done all he can do. So, after years and years of hearing these suggestions from the fans, it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility that the anime's writers could finally be doing it, and are writing Ash out of the show. In fact, this could explain why Pokemon Journeys as a series even exists in the first place. It's completely unique from other series in that it's not about exploring one dedicated region, it's about exploring every region we've seen thus far, and reuniting with all of the characters we have come to know and love over the last 25 years. And when you think about it, doesn't that sound like the perfect way to send off a character as beloved as Ash Ketchum? As iconic as he is, he obviously wouldn't just randomly announce that he was done and head back to Pallet Town. If he were to ever leave the anime, he would get a big send-off, the likes of which would be exactly like Journeys is in its premise. Because it's not really just a send-off for Ash when you think about it. It's a send-off for all of his friends, all of his Pokemon, and all the people he's met along the way. It's a send-off for this entire era of the Pokemon anime, which is pretty much the only era of the Pokemon anime that we have ever known, aside from various miniseries. So, of course they would do a series like Journeys, because it's all meant as one big farewell to Ash and this entire era of the show, which is ultimately going to come to an end during the anime's 25th anniversary year, this year in 2022. If they didn't set this up as a farewell for Ash, then no joke, this has got to be one of the greatest coincidences of all time, because it definitely seems like that's what they're doing.
To be honest though, that's just scratching the surface with why this theory makes so much sense, cause we haven't even gotten into what's going on with Pokemon Journeys right now. As of the making of this video, Ash is in the middle of the Masters 8 tournament, which is part of the World Coronation Series, also known as the Pokemon World Championships in Japan, which is literally a worldwide league of trainers that are individually ranked based on how good they are. Ash is currently ranked as the 8th strongest trainer in the world, and if he somehow ends up winning the Masters tournament, he will literally be the strongest trainer in the world. And one could consider that to be a Pokemon Master. Now, to be fair, Ash has said that becoming the world champion is just one step into becoming a Pokemon Master, but when you think about it in a writing perspective, there really isn't a lot you can do with him after you make him the strongest trainer in the world. So if Ash were to continue after that, it would make way less sense and would feel really awkward and forced just to keep him in the show. Honestly, it would feel way more satisfying to have him leave after achieving that goal, as sad as it may be. But hey, for all we know, he could end up losing against Leon in the finals or even against Cynthia in the semifinals, and I guess it would make more sense to have him continue if that were the case. But if he does somehow pull the victory, it only makes sense for his story to end here.
And part of the reason why that is because of what Journeys is doing, aside from it being a perfect send-off. We are getting to visit every region we have ever seen before and reunite with most of the show's former characters. How are you possibly supposed to follow that up in the next series? There's definitely no way you could top it, so the way I see it, they basically have two options. One, they could keep this format going, but when you think about it, you'll very quickly realize that this just wouldn't work. For one, the whole point of it from a plot perspective has been because of the World Coronation Circuit, which you can't exactly just do again, and all of the regions and most of the characters that they have the ability to revisit have already been seen, and you can't just cycle through them all again because then it loses some of its luster. So that option probably isn't very likely. Option 2, meanwhile, is that they go back to the dedicated single region format for the new Scarlet and Violet region. But going back to that after doing something like Journeys would probably feel pretty stale and uneventful by comparison. Unless they did it with a brand new main protagonist, like Go, who once again has possibly been warming up for this moment for years in Pokemon Journeys. And that would give this new series and the return to this more standard format, if they actually ended up doing it that way, the freshness and excitement that it needs to not be a total flop following up all of the cool stuff that Journeys did. So, while I won't say that I believe for certain that Ash's journey is going to come to an end, I am convinced that it is legitimately possible, and the possibility alone is surreal to think about, so it's going to be very interesting to see what ultimately happens. And there you have it, everyone. Be sure to let us know all your thoughts about this possibility in the comments below, and whether you want to see Ash replaced. I've also got to give a big shout out to Zac for coming on and helping me with this, so Zac, thanks a bunch for being here.
No problem. The collab isn't over though, because over on my channel, we did a video going over Pokemon characters and the drastic differences between their game and anime counterparts. So click the link in the description or the end card to check it out.
We will see you guys over there, and until the next one here, as always, thanks for watching, I really appreciate it, and I will smell you guys later.